This conference will now
Regarding
be
the material
recorded.
master data and the organizational structure, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Did anyone created the organizational structure configuration completely? Anyone created organizational structure completely?
No, sir.
No, not yet configured.
No, sir. No.
Okay. Okay, so let us start. So in SAP, just listening will not work. You need to practice, otherwise nothing will happen. Okay, if I am explaining, it looks like very easy, but if you are trying to do it in the system, there will be a lot of problems. So try to practice it, otherwise no use. Okay, so let us see. So yesterday we were discussing regarding the vendor master data. So as a part of vendor master data configuration, we are going to create vendor account groups, then number ranges for the vendor account groups, then assign number ranges to the vendor account groups. Like in case of the material master data, we have various material types. In the same way, in the vendor master data also, we will be having various vendor types, nothing but a vendor account groups. Okay, so domestic vendor account group, import vendor account group, and freight vendors, one-time vendors, and employee vendors. These are the various types of vendors that are available. I will try to create these vendor master data account groups. Where I will create, I will go to the SAP. We'll go to the SAP Online Server. So I will try to open this. So I will go to the SPRO, enter, go to the SAP Reference Implementation Guide. Then where I will be creating the vendor account groups, I will be creating the vendor account groups under financial accounting and account receivables and account payables. So this is actually a finance activity, not activity. So finance consultant will create the vendor account groups, but the vendor master data, everything will be done by consultant based upon the account groups what they created by the finance team. So I will go to the vendor account groups, master data, preparations for creating the vendor master data, define account groups with screen layout. So I wanted to define various vendor account groups. So I will select any one of the vendor account group and I will try to copy as. So I wanted to create DM01 as a domestic vendor account group. So I will input DM01. So domestic vendor account group. Domestic vendor account group. Group data. So I will just enter. So DM01 is already there. I will try to create DM03. So DM03 we were able to create. Let me save it. So I will create altogether a new transport request. Vendor account groups. Group for data. Okay, so I will just save it. Okay, create. I will also create other vendor account groups like we have import vendor. So I will select and I will create it as IM03. Let us say I will try to create IM03, that is import vendor account group. Import vendor account group. So I just saved it. I can also create freight or transport vendors. So I will select transport vendor. I will copy as and FR01 or FR03. Transport vendor Tata Group. So I just save it. Then one time vendor. So I will copy as one time vendor is ON03. So one time vendor Tata Group means I will activate this one time vendor account group. If the vendor is a one time vendor, then I just need to activate this particular checkbox. So I just save it. Okay, then employee vendor. So employee vendor, I will select this and I will copy as and I will input EM03. EM03 is nothing but a employee vendor. Okay, so like this I can create the multiple vendor account groups. Okay, now I will try to assign the number ranges to the vendor account groups. Where I will do that, I will go to the, let me go to the number ranges for the vendor account groups. I will go back. You see there is something known as create number ranges for vendor account groups. So first I will try to create the number ranges. So I will go to the intervals. There are many. Okay, so now it's quite difficult for us. So what I will do, I will try to go to the intervals, free intervals. Let us say I want to create a number range integer, that is 299980 to 3999, like that. So I will just click on continue and I will save it. So what is the number range integer that I have created? I'm not sure, it might have gone now. 2999, right? Okay, let us say I will take this particular, this is the number range integer which I just created. It is a internal number range. Why? Because the checkbox is not active. That is the reason it is an internal number range. So I can select 06 as a number range integer which I have created. So that particular number range integer I can assign it to the any one of the these vendor account groups. So where I will assign, I will go to the assign number ranges to the vendor account groups. So here my vendor account group is DM03. So DM03 is my vendor account group. So the number range integer is 06. Okay, so then for IM03, IM03 also I can give a same number range, or if I wanted to create, I can give a other number range as well. Then I am giving only one number range integer for all the vendor account groups, and FR03 also 06, and ON03 also 06. Then we have EM03, right? For all the vendors, I am giving only one. What is this? Okay, and EM03 also, I will try to give only one number range integer. So I just save it. So I created a vendor account groups. I also created the number range integer. I assigned the number range to all the vendor account group just now. I assigned only one number, right? But if you want to create multiple number ranges individually for each and every vendor account group, you can create and you can assign it to it. It is not like that material master. It is quite simple over here. Okay, so it is very quite simple in case of the vendor master data, but in case of material master it is a little bit complex, but here it is quite easy. Okay, so now I am able to create a configuration for the vendor master data. Like I am able to create vendor account groups, I am able to create the number ranges. I assigned the number ranges to the vendor account groups. Then what next? So the next activity is I need to create a vendor master data, where I will create the vendor master. Like in case of the material master data, we were able to maintain the material master for various views like basic data one, purchasing, etc. In the same way, in case of the vendor master data also, you are going to maintain the vendor master data at three levels. That is general data level and company code level and purchasing org level. So these are the three levels at which you can maintain a vendor master data. When I say general data, here we are going to maintain the general information pertains to the vendor. What is the general information? The general information is like address and tax information of the vendor and the bank details and the contact person details at the vendor's location. Like these are the some of the general information of the vendor master data. Company code information is the information that belongs to the financial transactions, will be called as a company code information. Purchasing org level data, it is nothing but a information that is related to the purchasing. So as a consultant, you need to understand the purchasing related information quite thoroughly. Finance, okay, whatever maybe the mandatory details are there. So those details we are going to maintain, like reconciliation account and recon account, and what are the payment terms, etc. These are fine in case of the company code information. And general information is nothing but the address and all those things, like how you maintain the address. In case of the plant, same way you need to maintain the address over here in case of the vendor master data as well. Okay, so what are the transactions that I need to use it for the vendor master creation? So let me go to the logistics. I will go to the materials management, then purchasing. Then you see there is something known as master data. Here you see there is something known as vendor. Then go to the central. XK01 is to create a vendor master data. XK02 is change vendor master data. XK03 is the display. XK04 is change log for the vendor master data. Means you created one vendor, later you made some changes to the vendor. So you wanted to see what is the old changes, what is the old value and what is the new value of the changes. You want to block the vendor for procurement activities, you can block via XK05. Delete, you want to delete the vendor, so you are going to delete the vendor via XK06. You created vendor master data for the account group IDM03, but later came to know that it is wrong. So in such cases, you can create a account group. You can change the account group for DM03 to IM03, etc. So those things you can do it. Okay, so let me now go to the vendor master data. Then list displays means if there is any T code to check vendor blocked. So this is the T code, right? If you want to block the vendor, you can block by using XK05. Okay, so I wanted to see the list of vendors that I have created. I will see by using MKVZ. MKVZ is the transaction code which will be used to see the list of vendor master data that are being created. Okay, so I want to create a vendor. Then what I will do, I will go to the XK01 transaction code. And as I discussed, the vendor master data will be maintained at the company code level, general information level, and the purchasing organization level. Okay, so since what is the company code for which I want to create the vendor? Let us say I want to create the vendor for IN47 company code. Then IN47 is the company code. Then what is the purchase organization for which I want to create the vendor? That is also IN47. Let us say IN47 is the purchasing organization, and the purchasing group, account group for the purchasing group is, that is DM03. Let us say I want to create a domestic vendor. So I will input DM03 and I am going to keep this blank. Why? Because it is a internally assigned number range for the vendor master data. So then I will click on enter button. So when I click on enter button, it will go to the general information of the vendor data. So what is general information? That is nothing but address. Address is the general information of the vendor master data, right? So like how I maintain the vendor master plant address, same way I need to maintain the address is here as well. Okay, so I will select company, and what is the vendor name? Let us say vendor name is let us say some company known as LG, right? LG Electronics Private Limited is the vendor from which I am trying to buy some TVs and all those things. So I need to make LG company as a vendor master, right? So I am trying to buy the some of the materials from LG company like TV, washing machine, etc. So I need to create LG company within my company as a vendor master data. So LG Electronics Private Limited is the company name or the vendor name. So like how you maintain the multiple naming conventions in case of the plant, here also you can have the multiple naming conventions for the vendor. Okay, then the search term you already know. So I am going to split this into two. I am going to split this and I am going to put it over here, which will be used in the search functionality. Okay, then I will go to the address maintenance. What is the street address and what is the region of this particular vendor? So we are going to maintain those things. So let us say the address of the vendor, the street name, all those things I am going to specify it over here. If your vendor is having multiple names, so you can maintain multiple names over here. Okay, but I am maintaining some dummy data. And what is the street address of this particular vendor? Let us say he is located in MC Road. Then what is the house number or the door number? Then what is the supplier supplement? Street 41234, like that we have multiple streets, right? So you just maintain some dummy information I am maintaining over here. Let us say Hyderabad is the district and postal code is, so this is the postal code and the city is Hyderabad. Then time zone and the transportation zone. So like how I maintained the plant address, same way I am going to get the proper address of the vendor to be maintained over here. Okay, so then what is the postal box? All those things we can maintain it over here. Then what is the telephone number of the vendor? So telephone number, what is his extension details? What is the fax number? What is the extension details? What is the standard communication? Okay, so is he using the fax or email or telephone number? What is the data line number? Telebox number, like that. If a vendor is having multiple addresses in different versions, you can maintain the address in the different versions as well. As I want to maintain a international version, I will click on OK. So I will just select, I will maintain over here. But this is in the international versions. Okay, so city and all those things we can maintain multiple versions in English language as well. So I just click on OK. So this is how you need to maintain the address, like we maintain the address in case of the plant, same way you need to maintain. Then go to the next screen. This is the tax information of the vendor. Like what is the, sometimes vendor will also be created as a customer, right? So I am buying material from you, so that I will be creating you as a vendor number for me. But you also buying some material from me. So I need to create you as a customer number within the sales and distribution module. So it is like that only, right? Sometimes I will buy from you and you also buy from me some other material. I am buying a refrigerator from you, you will buy some air conditioner from me. So in such cases, in my company, I will be creating you as a vendor as well as customer. So what is the customer number that is being created for this particular vendor? You just need to select. But customer master data is the sales and distribution module functionality. So you need to ask the sales representative or the consultant to create customer master data, and you need to take the relevant customer that is being created and mention it over here. So I will take any one of the customer number and made it over here. So this particular vendor will also be created as a customer. So what is the customer number? I just need to specify. Authorization group. If I wanted to restrict the authorization of this particular vendor, access to this particular vendor master data to one group of people, I can restrict with the help of the authorization object. Okay, so whatever may be the authorization object that is specified over here will be used by the security consultants to control the authorization of this particular vendor or access of this particular vendor. Trading partner, just select any one of the trading partner over here. Corporate group, LG Electronics. It is a free text, you can mention anything. Okay, so then this is the tax information of the vendor. What is the GST number, TIN number, TAN number, or PAN number, anything, whatever may be the tax related information pertains to this particular vendor, you can maintain. Let us say this is the TIN number, TAN number, PAN number, like the GST number, whatever may be the tax information, and what is the tax type. Okay, so you just need to select the relevant tax type over here. Then just let me select the tax type. So it is this particular vendor belongs to the tax. Whenever I purchased him, I will also paying the tax, and whenever he purchased him from me, so he is also paying the tax. So this particular vendor is relevant for the tax at the both sales as well as the purchases side. So then equalization tax, natural person, sales and purchases, tax split, social insurance code. Means social insurance code is nothing but If the vendor is belongs to the US country, so in US every vendor will have one thing known as a social insurance code. Every vendor will have one unique identification number. So that is nothing but a social insurance code. So you just need to select the relevant social insurance code that is being pertains to this particular vendor if you are creating a vendor master data within US. Physical address is nothing but the address that the vendor is being used for the tax related information or the tax related transactions. So you just need to select the relevant address the vendor is using for the tax purposes. VAT registration number. So whatever may be the VAT registration number if you have, so you just need to enter the VAT registration number over here. Representative name, the person at the vendor's location with whom I will be in touch for the procurement activities will be called as a representative name. The type of business this particular vendor is into. So this vendor is into what type of business? Is he into mechanical engineering, business related products, or some of the other household appliances related business products? You just need to select the relevant type of business this particular vendor is into. Tax office, just select any one of the tax related office for this particular vendor. Okay, so but if you are creating a vendor master data, you will not use all these values. Whatever may be the mandatory values are there, those values you are going to use it. Type of industry is it a retail industry or the software industry the vendor is into, and the tax number. So you just enter any number over here for the tax purposes. A reference data, location number. Location number is nothing but if you are creating a vendor master data in the countries like Germany, etc. So every vendor based upon his existence or the physical address, they will allocate a location number. So what is the location number that is being used for this particular vendor? Okay, so you just put check digit. Credit information number means what is the amount of credit that a vendor is going to give it to you. So normally if you go to the procurement department, I am buying the materials from the vendor. If I am buying the materials from the vendor, normally in India, every vendor will give you a 60 days credit or 90 days credit or 30 days credit. That means vendor will going to give you a credit. Means if he supplied the material today, you need to make the payment after 30 days for some vendors. For some vendors, you can make the payment after 60 days. For some vendors, after 90 days. So which is nothing but a credit information number that a vendor is going to give it to you. Okay, so let us say credit info is 90 days credit. This vendor is going to give me a credit limit of 90 days. Okay, so did you get it right? What is credit info? I think there are many people who are working in the purchasing department. They know what is credit. It is like a credit card, right? So if you are using the credit card, today you will use it, but you are going to make the payment after 45 days. So that is nothing but a credit limit. 45 days credit limit, the company or the bank is going to give it to you. In the same way, if you are buying a material from the vendor also giving you a 60 days or 90 days or 30 days credit. Okay, so you just need to select the credit limit that is being set for this particular vendor, and what is the last date on which you reviewed the credit information. Let us say I reviewed the information as a 31032022. Means if I am doing the business from this vendor from last couple of days and I observed that the vendor is supplying the materials quite well and he is following the delivery terms and conditions, everything quite very good. So in such cases, I can review the credit information against this particular vendor, and I can make changes like that. It is like your credit card, right? Initially they gave the credit limit for 1 lakh, but if you are doing very good transactions and if your credit limit or the CIBIL score is too good, so they will extend the credit limit. They will review and they will extend the credit limit to 1 lakh to 3 lakhs or 5 lakhs, etc. So you just need to review that, and based upon the performance of the vendor or the based upon the performance of you for making the payment to the vendor, he can increase the credit limit, etc. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then industry. Okay, so there are many places where they mentioned industry, but you need not to maintain everywhere, but whatever may be the relevant industry, you just need to select it over here. Here type of industry, if you want to maintain, you can maintain it over here, or you can maintain it over here. It is not mandatory that you need to maintain everywhere. SCAC code is, it is also a unique identifier which will be normally used in the US if a vendor is a transportation or the freight vendor. So every vendor will have one code known as SCAC code. So you just need to select the relevant SCAC code that is being assigned to the vendor if the vendor is belongs to the US. Let us say this is the SCAC code and carriage freight group. So this is also one of the, what is the mode of transport that vendor is using. Let us say he is using train or road mode of transport to transfer the materials from his location to the company premises of the customer. Service agent procedure group. So you just select what is the, let us say if this particular vendor is using the train or sea or road mode of transport, based upon that the freights are going to be differing, right? So if I buy a material by using bus, means if I transfer the material from Hyderabad to Vijayawada by bus, it will be 500 rupees charges. But if I use flight, it will be 10,000, right? So that is the reason you just need to select the relevant freight group for the calculation of the freight value based upon the transportation medium that he is using. Quality management system that the vendor is using. Let us say he is using ISO 9001, right? So every vendor, they will follow some quality management systems to ensure that whatever may be the products they are producing will follow some quality, some sort of quality management system, like ISO 9001, ISO 9002, etc. Okay, so external manufacturer, you just mention anything. Means he is the vendor from which I am trying to buy, but he is not the actual manufacturer. He also buying from the another person and selling it to us directly. So in such cases, the first person who is manufacturing the TV, I will be calling as the external manufacturer. If you are creating a vendor master data for a employee, in such cases, you need to maintain the information related to that particular employee. So what is his date of birth? Date of birth is, let us say, this one. This will be valid only in case of employee vendor master data. If you are creating employee as a vendor, then these things will be coming into picture. What is the place of birth of this particular person? What is the, whether he is a male or female, you just need to select. Let us say he is a male and male employee. And what is the profession he is doing? He is into the software engineer. Okay, so let me know with this we were able to maintain the information related to the tax of the vendor. Now we are in the, I will next go to the, I will go to the next tab. So now we are in the contact person details. Contact, where is the bank details? I think somehow we are missing the bank details. Bank details should come. Is it the issue with the, I think, the vendor account group which we have created? I think there is some issue. Let me try to create a vendor account group separately which has the bank details. Every vendor will have the bank information, so you just need to maintain the banking information of that particular vendor. We'll try to create DM04. Okay, I will use DM04. We will see. I will go to the XK01 DM04, right? Where is banking information? Banking information is not coming. I think there is. I will go to the SPRO. Preparations. I will take any one of the vendor, not this one. I will go down and I will try to take. So I will take this one, let us say, and I will try to copy DM05. So let me try to take DM05 and I will try to create a vendor account group now. I will try to create a vendor with the DM05. So I will try to select yeah with this is the place where I need to maintain the vendor payment transactions. Vendor payment transactions is nothing but the place where I need to maintain the banking information of the vendor. So what is the country a bank is located? So the country is India, where the vendor is having the bank. So what is the bank key? Nothing but IFSC code of the bank. And what is the bank account number? Let us say this is the bank account number. And what is the account holder? So the bank account is available on under LG company, LG Electronics Private Limited. LG Electronics Private Limited. Okay, so then I will go to the banking data. So every bank will have a naming convention, right? So let us say he is having a account in the HDFC bank, and the region where the bank is located is 10, that is nothing, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, then what is the street number, street of the bank address? MG Road, Hyderabad. Bank branch is Airport Road. So what is the SWIFT code? Can anyone tell what is the SWIFT code of the bank?
International transaction.
Yes, if you are performing the international transactions, then like IFSC code, you will have the SWIFT code. So you just need to select the relevant SWIFT code of the bank if you are performing the international transactions. Then bank group, whether it is a public sector bank or private sector bank, you just need to select. Then post bank account, this is something we are going to use it in case of the financial accounting. Okay, then what is the bank number? So bank number is nothing but the account number that is being pertains to this particular bank against you. Then if you want to maintain the address further, in detailed address for this particular bank, you can maintain the detailed address of the bank. Like how I maintained in case of the plant, you can maintain the complete address of the bank over here. Okay, so what is the bank name, all those things. You can maintain all the information related to this particular bank. What is the exact address of the bank, what is the street, all those things you can maintain, but I am not maintaining fully. You can maintain, if in the real-time projects, you can maintain the complete address of the bank. So then I will just click on OK button. Okay, so then we have a alternative payee. What is alternative payee? Alternative payee is nothing but if something happened to this particular vendor, who is the other person representing this particular vendor, so that whatever may be the pending bills or the invoices amounts are there, so I will be going to settle against that particular vendor, nothing but a alternative payee. So I will select the alternative vendor for which I want to settle the invoice amounts, etc. if something happened to the main vendor. So I will just select. Then DME indicator, just select something over here. Okay, then instructions key. So let us say if you instructed this particular bank up, let us say I have a bank account, I wanted to transfer some money to other account, other person, so I need to give some instructions to the bank, like the vendor payment needs to be done by using only electronic mode or check mode or NEFT. So you just need to select the relevant instructions that you wanted to give it to this particular bank, so that the bank will follow the instructions and they will do the payment or the activities accordingly. You just need to select the relevant one. ISR number, so this is one of the unique identifier that you are going to use it for the vendor. If the vendor bank is available within the countries like Germany, etc. So individual entries, that means individual entries means if there are 10 invoices to be paid to the vendor for the material that he supplied, how you are going to make the payment? Are you going to make the payment individually against each and every invoice, or you are going to do the payment cumulatively or combined for all the 10 invoices? You just need to specify it over here. Okay, so then just select, click on enter. So then this is the place where you need to maintain the information related to the contact persons of the vendor. Let us say I am the company, I have a purchasing department, I wanted to buy the materials from one of the vendors. So as a purchasing department person, I will be in contact against one of the person who is located at the vendor premises for the procurement activities. So I need to make capture the details of the person for with whom I will be in touch. Let us say Mr. Ram at the vendor's location, who is in touch with me for doing the procurement activities. What is the department of that particular person? The department is a sales department. And what is the function that he is performing in the sales department? He is performing as a seller, right? So I just need to capture the details of that person. So again, I will go to the partner details. In the partner details, there are so many details I can maintain against this particular person, like whether he is a VIP person or the management person, what is his married or not married. So you just need to select the relevant details. Okay, so whether he's a male or female, what is the date of birth of that particular person, what is his authority, can he take a decision on his own, or he is not a decision maker. If he wants to take any decision, he will take the decision along with some other person, nothing but a joint decision maker. Call frequency, if you wanted to have the discussions against that particular person, how many times you can call in a week. You can call every day or every 4 months or every 1 week. Weekly you can call him. And buying habits of this particular person, is a positive buyer or negative buyer. So just select positive buyer. If you want to maintain some information related to this particular person, you can maintain anything here, comments. Okay, so with this we can stop the session here today. Tomorrow we can continue from here. Okay, so do you have any doubts in the vendor master data till what we discussed? It is not that much complicated, it is simple one only.
Sir, actually, I have one doubt.
Hmm.
Sir, in previous you when you are creating the vendor, in some vendors you don't did not found any bank details.
Hmm.
So if we can create separate bank details to them if we are not finding the bank details.
No, you need to, it is based upon the vendor account group which you have selected, right?
Sir.
So the vendor account group which you selected for those vendors doesn't have the bank details captured. So that is the reason
Okay.
I have captured the vendor account group where there is a bank details. So you just need to select the relevant vendor account group where the bank account details are mandatory. Then you will create accordingly.
Okay. 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 Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, another one also you in vendor account group there is a check digit.
Hmm.
Sir, what is the use of that one, sir? If you are selected one
Check digit where
in account group, that vendor account group you are creating the time, sir. Check digit.
check digit. Let me check where it is there. Where is check digit?
I think in address details. I think, sir. Can you?
Nothing is here.
After. Can you forward something, sir?
I think
Alterations.
you are saying you might have seen here. Check digit. This one, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Means whatever maybe the location number you are giving over here, right? So whether this particular location number is properly maintained or not, that is what you are trying to check over here.
Sir.
Yeah, so that is the meaning. So if you wanted to see what is check digit, the check digit is derived from a special check digit procedure for daylight digits of the previous international location numbers. Okay. Means
Sir.
location number you should, here I just entered some dummy entry, right? But the
Sir, sir.
location number will have some specific sequence or the naming. So
Sir.
whether you are maintaining the proper naming or not, if you want to check, you will make a control over here.
Okay, okay, sir. So at the time of international transaction, they will give this check digit number also, no, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so we can meet tomorrow. So thank you. Bye bye. Try to practice it. Okay. Okay, then thank you. Any other doubts?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, then bye bye.